Hello, I'm Kevin Hutchins. I am part of the theater faculty here. I run the costume department, and for this show, Monster Calls, I am the costume designer and the scenic designer, which makes me the scenographer for the show. The design process for me um, starts with a lot of paperwork. I like to be organized first, going through the show, combing through the show, knowing exactly what needs to be where, when. And then I will create a bunch of vision boards for each character, the scenery, what that all looks like, trying to match color palettes and textures and all of that. And then I start my building costume process, pulling from our lovely stock, buying things, turning them into other things, working with our lovely technical director, Andy, he's above us somewhere right now, to build for the show. So it's a lot of things all in the air at once, but it's very organized and meticulous for me so that I don't feel crazy. So this show was really fun to dive into. I always start with reading the show at least 2 or 3 times just to enjoy it the first time, be technical the second time, and start to imagine the third time is really what I like to approach with. And this show has such an interesting balance of reality and fantastical, sort of a magic realism, which is one of my favorite styles to design because I love figuring out how you can sort of subtly or not so subtly weave these mystical elements into a realistic set or costume. So for this show, I looked up a lot of trees, a lot of London, Great Britain for architectural inspiration, what folks wear. It takes place today, so I wanted it to feel relatable. And also I took a lot of inspiration from shows like Stranger Things, sort of that sci-fi mystical monster, since this show on stage really hasn't, in the original version on stage it was very devised and bare bones, and our version is much more fleshed out design-wise, so I got to create and figure all that sort of stuff out. I believe that the best designers are really good compromisers. You always are going to hit sort of speed bumps and all that in the process, whether it be safety or it's not quite what we thought it was going to do when it's under the lights on stage, all that sort of stuff. For this show, we designed this sort of complex jungle gym tree. So figuring out how that was going to work for the cast, but also read as a tree, but also read as sort of this mixed media tree design was in very many drafts and compromises between the team, but a compromise is not necessarily negative, it's just us working together and creating. Well, I've costume designed for so many years of my life, and I've always wanted to dive into the scenic design world, and this is actually my sort of debut doing that, which is really exciting. And I'm so thankful for USM to allow me to explore that here. It's definitely a mix of, I feel that it is really, it makes a show extra cohesive when 2 design elements are filtered through one brain, and I really have enjoyed making that appear for this show. I think audience will particularly see that when the monster and the monster ensemble become part of the tree and leave the tree. They really blend together because I mixed the colors and the fabrics I used and all of that between the costumes and the scenery. And other times, since this is sort of my first rodeo, my head has felt like it was going to explode with balancing all these things. So it's been a really cool learning experience, and I'm very happy with how things are turning out. The monsters, for sure, because anything fantastical my brain loves. And I also got to collaborate with the Mist Lab in the Portland campus, where we designed together and 3D printed an original mask, which you'll get to see. And I'm very proud of how that turned out, and it's a really awesome artistic collaboration. The actor, Jesse, who plays the monster, had to get his head scanned. It was really high-tech, and I've always wanted to 3D print a design element, since that's something you see in a lot of designs nowadays in the modern day, especially in like superhero movies and stuff. They use a lot of that technology. So it was cool to bring that to the USM stage. I would say come and let yourself sort of be immersed in the world of the show. Obviously, it deals with heavier topics, but there's levity, there's fantasy, it's a beautiful story and is sort of well known for a reason. And I think it's very relatable to a lot of people. And I just encourage folks to come in open and ready to absorb.